Yay. Hey, you guys. It is I, Becca Lori Hector here, and I am back with Being Becca Live. So welcome, you guys. It is Tuesday, and I am here. Last Tuesday, I apologize that I missed you guys. I had a power outage here in my house, which took me down to no internet and left me with 3G on my phone. And so I wasn't able to get online for, thank you so much, Bernard. This is my shirt. Bernard's a fabulous shirt. So I designed this shirt. This is one of the Self-Defined Living shirts. And it is at the Redbubble store, should you like to go and get one of your own. It's one of the new designs that are up there. The other one is about being perfectly imperfect. And that one's up there as well. So thank you very much for pointing out the shirt. I appreciate it. And yeah, I just finished, actually, I had a fantastic interview just now with a fantastic autistic person all the way across the pond from me in Ireland. I'm sorry that I'm so blanched out right now. I can see that it's so bright, you guys. I can try and fix it a little bit. Maybe that'll help some. Oh, that helped a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it snowed. We've had snow for the last whatever. I don't know. Thanks, Bill. And so it snowed last night, like a foot of snow. And when that happens, and then we have a sunny day the next day, it might as well be like having a spotlight in your face all day. So I try not to sit in my office for too long on days like today, but I'm here for you this week because I missed last week, you guys, really bad. Anyway, let's talk about, but I did, let me just say this on that, topic. Last Tuesday, even though I missed live stream, thank God, thank goodness, we got power back about 3 hours later, which was just in time for the first of the SDL seminar series, Unraveling Masking, which was last Tuesday. It went phenomenal. I loved it. I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on it from you guys, and I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited to say that the recording is now up on the website for purchase. So if you missed the live version, but you still want to see it and are interested, you can head over to my website. There's a tab in the menu for the SDL seminar series. And in that tab, you will see a way to purchase the recording for Unraveling Masking. And then coming up in 7 days, you guys, literally 7 days, a week from today, we'll be debunking disclosure. And so I did 2 for April, then we'll be doing 1 in May. And I can now tell you about May. So May, that one is up too on the Self-Defined Living seminar series. We are going to be talking about simplifying self-care in May. And what we kind of need to know about self-care and what we don't need to know about self-care. And that will be in May. It's going to be May 18th. And since I didn't get any kind of overwhelming registration because I had it at 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm going back to doing it at a time that works for me and Joe. So Joe, it's going to be at 1 o'clock MST, whatever time that makes it for you, 2 hours later than right now. And so that is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing it on Tuesday, May 18th. At 1 p.m. MST. Registration is now open for that as well. As you know, if you are part of the Self-Defined Living course, if you're taking it now or have taken it, you get a small discount on that. I give you, you can come see that for $10. So just give me a shout out or an email if you are an SDL person, and we will take care of it through email so that you don't have to pay full price. And that's that. Those are the announcements about the seminars that I have going on, coming up. But let us move along, shall we, to today's topic. Today's topic is not an easy one for me to talk about. I actually had 2 topics in mind. I had one from last week that I didn't get to talk about, and then one from that kind of came to me over the last week that I feel is a little bit more relevant. So last week I was going to talk about body dysmorphia and how that relates to sensory processing disorder. So I think I'm going to swing back to that next week because I want to talk about this difficult topic this week. So here's the thing that's really hard for me to say out loud, and I'm going to say it out loud anyway. I think that I'm in the early stages of burnout, and that is not something that I say lightly. I am really proud to say that I haven't had a severe burnout episode since my diagnosis almost 9 years ago. And to be sitting in a place where I feel like I could slide into a burnout scares the shit out of me. I really don't want to go into burnout. I'd rather have something else happen. It's a really uncomfortable place to be in burnout. And it will make me feel a little bit like I failed, like I wasn't able to sustain or maintain. Now, making it almost 9 years without a burnout is a pretty big deal, I think. I haven't had any major shutdowns either during that time. And so I kind of, especially having in that time, I lived through so much stuff. I mean, I got my diagnosis, and then my grandmother passed away, and then my mother passed away, and then I met my husband, and I moved out to Colorado. So we're not talking about an easy 9 years without transitions. And what I'm trying to figure out is why burnout is sort of settled. It feels like the early stages of burnout are settling in right now. And so what I decided to do was to start to list them a little bit and write down the things that I am seeing or experiencing that I think are signs or warning signs of burnout, like early signs of it. The ones that we talk about and I think are most obvious are that your meltdowns, or the feeling that you're going to have a meltdown, you're triggered to meltdown, that increases for sure. And also, I think our shutdowns increase. Now, I haven't had that this go around, which is really annoying to me. And so I've been really trying to separate whether I think it's autistic burnout or if I just think it's a mean old bout of depression, right? That's kind of coming into play too. So I'm not entirely sure. And I also am not clear 100% on where I think it's coming from or what I need to do, what I need to change or fix. So that's the place that I'm in. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I want you to know that no matter how long you've been on this journey, no matter how many times you rewatched the course, no matter how many live streams that you sit through with me, my life isn't perfect. I'm not happy all the time. Your life isn't going to be perfect. You're not going to be happy all the time. That's just the way that it is. That's the way that the cycles go, right? And that's why I talk about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, because there's always going to be discomfort. Just always. And so here are some of the things I've been noticing kind of going on in my life. And I think right now I really am having a hard time separating what's depression and what is burnout. And so, but this week I was really 100% sure that I was headed there. Like on Saturday and Sunday, I was, looking at my calendar for this week and trying to contemplate if I could cancel anything. Like that's where I was sitting, this weekend. And so here are, some of the things that I've noticed to be, at least for me, early warning signs of burnout. Okay. Dissociation. So dissociation is something that I struggle with probably, I guess, all the time. The more anxious we get, the more stressed we get, the more we dissociate. That is what dissociation does. It sort of gives you a break from reality for that few moments or whatever, so that your brain can kind of shh for a second. And that's why every human being who dissociates. It's the same thing, right? It's I need a break from all of this for a second, and the brain just takes it. Okay. And you just feel really disconnected from everything around you. You feel a lot like you're watching your life from the outside, rather than being in your life and being part of your life. And so I've been noticing I've had a lot of episodes of that. In fact, if you watched Unraveling Masking, if you came to the live or you watched the recording, you may see that a couple of times in Unraveling Masking, I had a little bit dissociation episodes, and I kind of forgot what I was talking about or what slide I was on or something. And it's very subtle. I don't know that anybody else would notice, but I felt it happen. And it was really annoying because I was doing something that I really love, and also, was new and people had paid to see. And so it felt terrible. And so sometimes you'll kind of see me dissociate and I sort of stop talking mid-sentence or something. And then I'll come back to it because whatever it was that took me away for that second has let me go. And so that's something that I've noticed. I've had an uptick of my dissociation. And so that had me paying attention for sure. Because it's a sign that anxiety and stress are elevating, right? The depression, right? So depression is part of burnout, I think. I think all of us experience a large amount of depression when we struggle through burnout. And what I noticed is that my depression was kind of rearing its ugly head. And I've had a little bit of break from it from February. As you guys know, if you follow me, I I usually am or this year was the first year I really put it into place, but I have seasonal depression that kind of kicks in November and sort of leaves me in February. And it's pretty consistent about that stuff. So since February, I haven't had that seasonal depression. But this week I felt the depression like I was carrying a backpack of it this week. Like it was just there hanging out in the background all the time. And that made getting motivated really hard. Really difficult. I also noticed that, and this is when my awareness came around. Well, let me finish with this stuff first. So, the other thing, so depression, exhaustion, right? It's a different kind of exhaustion. It's not like I'm super tired for a good reason. It's like you wake up in the morning and you could go right back to sleep exhaustion. It's like you had no sleep the night before, but have to get through your day every day. It's that kind of exhaustion. It's almost like, and with it comes this, there's a word for it, where you just stop caring. You just stop caring about yourself and the impact of things like, who cares if I wash my face? Who cares if I take a shower? Who cares if I do the laundry? Who cares if I worn the shirt 3 days in a row? Who cares, right? And it just keeps like that. And so I noticed a lot of that stuff going on too. A lot of like, who cares? And that's not who I am as a person, right? I'm really passionate about the shit that I do and I spend my energy and time on. And so to be feeling meh about anything lets me know depression is hanging about. I'm ready to take over whenever I want. And so that scares me, of course, because if it gets bad enough, it's pretty bad. Let's see. Sensory issues uptick. Yes. Okay. So this comes along with it for me too. I noticed that I have an intolerance to a lot of sensory input, bigger than what I usually do. So that lights hurt more, sounds hurt more, finding my English hurts more. Just there's a lot of, it's a feeling of being overloaded almost instantly all the time, rather than being okay for a little bit and then getting overloaded, right? And having it build up. It just feels like the instant it happens, I'm at overload. That's how I would explain it. Let's see, sleep issues. Okay. Definitely uptaking sleep issues, either needing or wanting too much sleep or inability to sleep, fall asleep, stay asleep, whatever. I have both. So I struggle at night to fall, like my biorhythm gets jacked, and I struggle to fall asleep at night and struggle to get up in the morning and stay awake all day, right? But at night I can't sleep. And so that happens for me. I also get an uptick in my nightmares. So I'm somebody who has really big nightmares. So like, people would call them night terrors, I guess. They're just very visceral to me. I can almost touch my dreams. When I have nasty nightmares that get to that level, I wake up feeling that way. I take the dream with me a lot of times. And what it shows me is that I'm feeling so anxious and stressed that feeling is coming out in my dreams and staying with me, because I'm either ignoring it or it's just so big, it's such a large amount of it that it's getting into my sleep. So that's been the last few days. I've also been having a lot of night sweats with this time around, noticing that. Let's see. Oh, and skin picking. So here's another thing. So anybody who, if you struggle with teletrichomania, I am not somebody who has that, so I don't want to say that. Like I don't pick everything all the time, and to the point that people necessarily pick, but I am a skin picker. So I noticed that this last few weeks, my fingers have been terrible. I pick my cuticles. That's my big, it's sort of, it's really a self-harm. I think that's really what it is. And so I almost wanted to write uptick of self-harm too, because there are self-harm behaviors that don't result in you needing to go to the hospital right away or needing a Band-Aid or things like that, right? There are bloodless self-harms that we do. And I've noticed an uptick of that. So for example, my appetite has been gone and I haven't been making myself eat. I just don't care enough to eat, right? And that to me is part of that cycle. And what was I saying about that? Oh, skin picking, right? And so that to me is part of that cycle. And not eating, not taking care of yourself nutritionally, of course, is part of a self-harm. And I am somebody who has struggled in the past with eating disorder behavior, I wouldn't say I have had full-blown eating disorders, but I have definitely struggled with eating disorder behavior along the lines of just not eating. Like, I'm just so tired of food being such a struggle that I just don't want to eat anymore. And that's where I'm at. I have no appetite. Everything that I put in my mouth tastes wrong. The texture is annoying. I don't want to chew anymore. So that's kind of where I've been at with those kind of, that beginning of self-harm behavior. And then to me, these other ones, like not washing my face, not taking care of my hygiene, and also the skin picking. Because for me, the skin picking is especially around my cuticles. And when I talk about self-harm, right, it's like, it's not just picking my cuticles, it's picking my cuticles till they bleed and that other people can see it on my hands, right? That when they look at my hands, they can see the scabs and the bleeding and all of that. And I don't just do my cuticles. I don't know, somehow it winds around to my fingers and stuff. And so that for me is a high stress habit. Like, I do that when things are really bad. Otherwise I don't, because I'm somebody who bit my fingers. I bit my fingernails my whole life. And when I finally stopped, I like never wanted to have ugly hands anymore. So I struggle with it mentally, that I have to see it, and also struggle with the fact that I'm doing it and it doesn't exactly not hurt, right? It kind of hurts. And so I've been doing a lot of that lately. So to me, that series of that grouping of these symptoms together, and then this just a giant lack of motivation, like that. I don't care meets I don't wanna. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to try that again. I don't care meets I don't want to. So I don't care if this happens and I don't want to do it anyway, right? That's been my pervasive feeling. And what sucks is I know I have good stuff to share with you guys. I know I'm doing these seminars and I know I'm teaching you guys the right things, but when my life doesn't look reflective of that, I feel guilty and I feel like shameful. I'm always saying to you guys, be kind to yourself. You're never going to be perfect. We always make mistakes, even when you've been doing something for a long time, right? So be kind to yourself. And I should be, I don't know, that I should be happier. I don't know what, you guys, but I don't want to pretend, because who wants to be with a teacher or follow somebody who's inauthentic? So if I don't share with you that there's still struggles and there are still days that feel like crap and there are still things I don't know how to get through, I hope it allows you to see that I am just a human being. I'm just a human being, an autistic human being, but a human being, right? And so while many of these techniques and things work 98% of the time, sometimes it's something bigger. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to decide if I think it's burnout or if I think it's just depression. Either way, I know that the things I should do for it are about the same, right? I need to stay moving. I need to be creating. I need to make sure I'm doing my self-care and things like that. So either way, that's the way to go about it. But I'm really, really hoping to keep burnout at bay. Like, I'm considering, I'm hoping to make it through April. I'd like to make it through April with my normal schedule and everything I have planned. And then I think I'm going to take a break in May for a little bit. I think I'm going to push the course. I was going to start it again in mid-May, but I think I'm going to push it to the beginning of June and take some time. Or at least I feel like that might be the right choice. So I'm going to start working towards that in terms of my scheduling, which means we might miss a live stream or growing gratitude here or there, but I think I might need to. I think missing it intentionally with the purpose of recharging is something I should do as a mentor, right? I need to show you guys by doing, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the right route through here, but I'm not 100% sure. So I will keep you guys updated, but this is sort of where I've been at. This is sort of what's been going on. And so I wanted to kind of put that out there. These are the early warning sign symptoms that I think I found for me. And I'm curious if they sound familiar to other people out there, and if we can create a more generalized list of the things we can look at as early warning signs that aren't necessarily Becca specific, but all of us, right? So that's where I'm at, you guys. I don't have anything other really to share than that. It felt like it was time. It was time to kind of let you guys know that this is where I'm at, and to kind of process that all a little publicly so that we can all learn from it. Is really how I was feeling. Like, how can I make this suck just a little bit less? Well, by sharing it and hoping that I'm not alone and hoping that someone else hears it and they feel less alone. But know that nobody is perfect and nobody is superhuman. And that if you are someone that struggles with mental health issues, that will likely be the case in an on and off cycle for the rest of your life. And it's not about making that mental illness necessarily go away, but taking control of how you respond to the ups and downs of it, right? Deciding and taking control of the response and how to get better. So one of the responses, for example, could be to do absolutely nothing about it and just continue to push myself and hope that it passes, right? That might work. Chances are no, but maybe, right? But I'm choosing that that's probably not the right path for me through this, whether it's depression or early burnout. Probably the right path for me is some rest. And rest is hard for me. And I say taking a while because, and here's another little piece, not sure if it's also something you guys struggle with, but if I take time off, it takes me a couple of days, 2 to 3 days actually, to really detach from what it is that I'm doing. Like, so for me to detach from the autism stuff, it takes about 3 days for my brain to stop worrying about my Facebook and my LinkedIn and all the posts on Buffer. And are people responding? Are people not responding? What are my numbers? What are my likes? It takes me about 2 or 3 days to really shut that off before I can actually like mentally relax. So I could be for 2 or 3 days laying on the couch doing nothing, but before it takes me 3 days of laying on that couch before my brain is resting, before my brain has let go of all of the stressful things and has leaned into the rest. So it takes me a little bit. So if I want 3 days off, I really need 5 days off, right? And that kind of thing. So yes, rest is confusing to me too, Bernard. It's a hard one, right? How do we know when to rest and for how long to rest? And I think that's a really personal journey. It's really a personal experience how much rest you need. And certainly as I've gotten older, I've needed more rest than I needed as a young person. So interesting. So that's kind of where I'm at. I assume a lot of this is similar for you guys, but I'd like to know. So if you could share that with me in the comments or wherever you're seeing this video, I would really like to know what your experiences are with burnout. And if you have any early warning signs, and if when you decide to rest, if it also takes you a few days to actually rest. I'm curious about that. And if that's like an autistic thing or if that's just a Becca thing. Don't know. Want to find out. So yeah, let me catch up with what you guys have said over here. Hey, Nancy. Bill says, I wonder if it's not an autistic reaction from emerging to a post-COVID world adding to our burnout vibes. You know what, Bill? I feel like that's fair. Because I feel like we all really, a lot of us really enjoyed the pace and pleasure of the pandemic, the quarantine. We all kind of really worked and vibed with it. If you noticed, there was a lot of creativity and a lot of product coming out of our community this last year because we've had the time to really work at a pace that is comfortable for our brains. And so maybe, yes, Bill, maybe I've begun to start worrying about all of those things and going back out into the world and what things will change and what things won't change and what things will stay with what we learned and what things will go back to the old way. So that's a really good thought. I also thought for the first few days after the vaccine, I was pretty convinced that it was the vaccine doing this to me and that I was really just tired from the vaccine. But when that was true, I think for 2 days. And then I woke up on the last day and I was like, I feel okay. I don't feel that sick tired, but I still feel tired here. And so that's when I started to kind of just realize that this is where I'm at, that I could be on the precipice of burnout. And I decided that sharing it would be kind of the best. It sounds like good proactive planning with some appropriate rest. I agree. Yes, our health is important. It has to be. Oh, thank you, CV, so much. Your authenticity is a medicine for others. Thank you for sharing and modeling. Thank you, CV, because it's really hard, right? I do grow in gratitude because I need to be able to see the good things in my life in times like this, right? So I need to be able to say to myself, well, I might be struggling with this right now, but if I share this journey, if I'm vulnerable and authentic with people about what it feels like to be experiencing what could be burnout and knowing how scary it is and knowing that you don't want to go there. Can you stop it? Can I catch it? And that's going to be the attempt this time. I'm going to attempt to catch it. And I hope that I'll be able to do that. But that's where I'm at, you guys. So before I babble and talk about it anymore, I just wanted to say, hey, this is what's going on for me. I think I'm in early burnout. These are some of the symptoms I'm experiencing. Do they resonate? And that's what I want to know. So wherever you are watching this video, please comment with your input. A thumbs up or a thumbs down on the video lets me know if you think the content was worth talking about and if I should continue on this road. Thumbs down will let me know I got some work to do. But I appreciate it. As always, your shares, your likes, your follows, all of those things mean a ton to me because right now I am sitting all by myself in my office talking at a computer screen. And so if I don't hear back from you guys, I have no idea if it's reaching anybody. Anyway, that's going to be it for today for Being Becca Live. I will be back right here on Sunday with the next Growing Gratitude. And of course, I'll be back next Tuesday with the next Being Becca Live. And I hope to be able to talk about body dysmorphia and sensory overload connections next week. Until then, head out to my website, which is beccalaurie.com, LORY.com. The link is in the description below, along with links to the Ko-Fi, the Redbubble store that has this really cool, awesome shirt in it, and my social media, my writing, the course, the seminars, everything is all right there. The newsletter, it's all right on my website. Of course, there is also a contact page that goes directly to me there where you can send me your thoughts if you would like to keep it private. Or you can email me directly at info@beccalaurie.com. That's it for me today, you guys. I will see you out and about on the interwebs, and I'll see you on Sunday for Growing Gratitude. Bye, guys.